Alright, so next on the Veloster things to do is change out the lugs and the lug nuts all the way around the car. I'm switching out to these APR lugs just because I've noticed that at the end of the track day some of the lugs are loose on the car, some of them aren't. Torque them down, drive home, and the same thing. So I think I've got a couple of stretched ones. I'm really putting a hurt on them. So that's going to be happening. That's going to happen all the way around the car. The other thing we got going on is a easy shim kit that I got from KTM Tuners. This will allow me to put rear camber and some toe on the rear of the Veloster. Mine's a 2016, non-adjustable. What these are just it's a two-piece shim that actually is slid together, and they rotate, and you might not be able to tell, but they do get thicker and thinner. So this one's the thinnest side, and if you look, that's thicker. And that gives you, I believe, if I read that correctly, about 1.5 to 2 degrees negative camber, positive camber, however you want to turn it, depending on how you spin the wheel and adjust it on the car. That will be that. If you're not comfortable with alignment stuff, I would recommend having a shop do it that has the tools. I have set my car to the stock position. I just had the alignment done about 6 months ago. So the car is stock, so I know what the stock measurements are. I have these set so that they're giving me about 2 degrees negative camber with, and when I adjust them to the proper angle, I should get 1 degree to 2 degrees of negative toe. So I'm a toe in the front end of the tires. That will scrub some of my speed, but one thing I noticed on my tires, the back of the car, because it's front wheel drive, really slides left and right through the corners, and I'm getting a lot of marbling on the tires that is just rolled up, and towards the end of the day the tires just don't have any traction left. So I'm hoping by getting them a little bit more planted in the corners, that should go away. Alright, so the next step will be out to the car and get it up in the air. Alright, so the next step, we got the car up in the air. It's on ramps in the front, jack stands in the back. So the next step we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and pull the wheel off. I already loosened the wheel up before I took it off the ground. So next step, wheel off. Alright, you can see all this rubber that's built up here from the back of the car sliding left and right. You can see where it's building up along the edges. That's just built up rubber. Alright, so these will go on the front. I will dig some of the stuff off and take it off our drive. Alright, since we have the wheel off, let's go ahead and double check some things. Got some cobwebs up here. Car's been sitting for about 4 months. Last time I took it out was December. That's February, so about 3 months. Alright, so no damage, no rubbing. That mark is from where it initially rubbed the tire. That's why I put this zip tie here, just to keep it up back in the back. Brakes look pretty good. As you can see, I got some rust buildup. So the next thing what we're going to have to do is pull the caliper, pull the brake, so we can get to the hub, so we can pull the hub. So I'll probably pull or do the studs first, then pull the hub once I have everything disassembled. but that will be next. I need to grab a couple of tools and do that. But let's go ahead and just do a quick once over, make sure there's nothing loose, nothing leaking, which I don't have any leaks. Everything looks nice and dry and dusty. So yeah, this all looks good. Brakes look good still, so that's a plus. We've got quite a bit of brake pad. I'll measure it, but it doesn't look like they need to be changed quite yet. Alright, back in a bit. I would say normally I put the lugs back on the studs just so I don't lose the lugs, and but since I'm swapping this, all the lugs and nuts out anyway, it don't really matter. I'm just going to throw them all in a box in the back of the car for now. I got a little bend right there. I don't know if that was been there for a while. It looks like somebody put a pair of pliers on it. I don't remember doing that. But alright, I'm going to go ahead and pull the other wheel off, and then I'll check that and then start on bringing the parts out for the other stuff. Alright, so we're back on doing the camber and bolts. One of the things I noticed, apparently when I went and got turn 8 at Laguna Seca screwed up, it looks like I had enough rebound to have the tire rub right there. That's rub marks. That's all cleaned off plastic from that. But it doesn't look like anything else. I do got some body clips I need to put back in these holes, apparently. I guess I knocked them all loose. So next thing we're going to do today is pull this caliper, and then I'll work on getting this off. Okay, so a 13 is what we need. That's loose. Get down here on the bottom one. I need an extension. Alright. Alright. Let's put the bottom one out. And that's the top one. So 2 14s pulled out of that, and we're going to go ahead and pull the brake caliper off. First thing we're going to do is give it a good squeeze to see if we can get that caliper to compress a little bit. So what I'm just trying to do is get this caliper to come out. I might need to get some brake pads for the rear. Yeah, maybe not. They still look pretty decent. Alright. So what I'm going to do is take my bungee cord here. I don't want the caliper to hang. So there. I just took just a little bungee cord, wrapped it, keep the caliper from hanging on the brake line. Last thing we need is it to be messed up. But it looks like we still have a pretty good pad, probably about 25% left. So that's good. And so the next thing I'm going to do is pull this bracket off, and I believe, I'm not sure, let me double check this. I guess that's a 14 also. Alright, so let's see about getting that out of the way. Huh, I never noticed I had red paint on it. Okay, so both bolts that hold the bracket on. So we're just going to slide that off. Yeah, we still got a pretty decent groove between the pads there, so not too bad. I don't know if you can see that in there. But we'll just set that to the side for now. And then we need to pull this brake off. If they don't come with them, I don't usually reuse them. And yep. Alright, doesn't look too bad. So we're just going to set that out of the way for a second. Now, what I'm going to do next, I'm going to go ahead and drive these out while I still have it in there. Alright, big hammer time. I don't know if I can get in there enough to hit it though. Just like that. Alright, so that inner bolt is a 12 and I'm using a 6-inch. Could probably get away with a 3, but I don't have a 3-inch adapter or extension right here, so let's see what it's going to take to get that bad boy out of there. Actually, not bad. Okay, a couple of turns. Alright, so I went and found a black Sharpie, and if you look right here you can see where I marked this. I don't know if it matters if this bearing goes in upside down or not, but since I know which way I'm taking it out, that's the way I'm putting it back in. So let's go ahead. Alright. So it's in pretty good shape. There's no play, no looseness, no grabbing. Alrighty. So we'll set that aside. Try not to ding up your sensor. And then that. So I guess the next question is, how does... Okay, so the next thing what we have here... Alright, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out where this easy shim, this is a kit. You get 2 of these guys. If you look, you can see how thick these runners are compared to the ones on this side. So this is where you're going to get your adjustment. The instructions explain to you how to turn the wheel, what you're going to do. Now I've turned it to the maximum setting, so I'm going to go for the maximum negative camber, which means negative camber, you want your thinnest side up. And the other thing we have here are some wedges that are different thicknesses so that you can put them in the behind the plate, make sure everything lines up. And I'm assuming it goes behind the plate because none of the videos I've seen showed exactly where they put these little red things. Actually, most people are using metal washers. These are actually spacers. They're different thickness. So again, link will be in the description. I got these from KTM Tuners. I believe this was a Pierce Motorsports part. I'm not 100% sure, but I'll put the link in the description.